because there is no better way to show progress than by selling more stuff. That said, could you enlighten the community as to why the roadmap seems to be more of a decorative piece than an actual guide? Andrew, would you like to take this one?
Yeah, I always like when people ask their question referring to the community. But anyways, in regards to the roadmap, I guess that probably the person is referring to the roadmap, high-level roadmap that is published on the site. And yeah, I must admit that it's not being updated on a regular basis. Uh, and that's quite a common thing. However, we are, I guess, everybody who are visiting the game every now and then see the amount of updates and amount of content we're adding as well as functionality. And it's obvious that the game is developing at a very high pace. With that being said, the high-level roadmap to properly update it, we would need to uh, set another planning meeting, and we are always prioritizing to deliver features faster. And as all of you know, the game development in particular is quite um, hectic process. So I have never seen a game development studio that was prioritizing to um, deliver exact items specified in the roadmap instead of delivering and adjusting for the most efficient stuff for the product. And obviously, we are doing the same. So what that means is that sometimes some of the points are not being implemented, but instead we always add something different, something that we believe is more important for the game at the current state of its development. And I think we're doing quite well. As for the high-level roadmap on the site, I think it will be updated from time to time to uh, reflect what general direction of development we have in plans for the next year or half a year. And I think it's time to revisit um, revisit it once again and update it. So thank you for the point, and I guess I answered the question in general.
Yeah, another question that I'll take. Are you considering getting transfers of items from the additional islands to the main island? This would come in handy. This indeed would come in handy, and it is planned for the near future. Basically, the plan is that players will be able to place a certain number of inactive objects, like not recurrent recycling, crafting, not charging, etc., in the construction panel and put them on another island. So there is that. And another question is there a chance to increase the maximum limit of 100 decorations in the game? So, as master of the decorations, maybe you would take this one.
Wouldn't say I'm the master of decorations, but yeah, I'll take the question. So there are no plans to change the current value. No. Right now, several solutions are being worked out related to restricting decor, additional slots for founders, and additional islands, and the possibility of converting decor to higher rarities. All of these things are under consideration. But I mean, look, decorations serve a current purpose. We think they serve it just fine. Does that mean we're not going to touch this mechanic or these items? No. Of course, we're going to look at things. Things might change. But it's not necessarily something that we're going to focus right now this instant. We don't see that as a priority. They serve a purpose and they serve it fine. The next question is, will the materials to increase the rarity of our equipment drop from any island? Or will the island level depend on whether these materials drop and by what amount? Will we need to have our NFTs charged to get them, or will they be free to play once and we'll be able to obtain that? So I think the resources, actually, I know that the resources being asked about in this question is what we call rifts. So here's how you can get these rifts, right? Rifts are dropped similarly to tokens in a way that, luck and the charge of the NFT items influences the drop and the appearance of these bonus drops. The second important thing to note is that rifts can drop as a welcome drop for players even without NFTs. This is very important. We'll come back to this in a second. The last point is that rifts actually can be traded on the open loop marketplace. They cannot be bought from us, the developers. So this facilitates this player-driven economy, right? You can trade these things, very valuable. If you're dropping them and you're a free-to-play player, you can put it back out there. And of course, people that do have these items, NFTs, and charges and luck are going to drop, a considerable amount more than the other players. So rifts that are required to increase the rarity of items will be introduced into the game. They can be traded with other players on the marketplace and processed into high quality rifts as well. So that's where we're going to leave rifts. Moving on. In the medium, the wiki, essentially, it is mentioned that to increase the rarity, we will need 2 NFTs, the one that we want to upgrade and the one to burn. Will it be like that, or will it be more than one to burn? Does the level of both pieces matter, or does it only matter for the one I want to increase in rarity? Will the result of the rarity increase give a weapon equal to the one that we increased, but of higher rarity? So I love these questions, which are actually 5 questions, but let's dive into it. Let me explain again how the NFT item and artifact actually rarity upgrading works. So when we're talking about artifacts specifically, we're talking about 2 NFTs. Artifacts don't have stats and unique attributes like weapons do, right? There's no lifesteal in an artifact. It's just an artifact. So you have 2 artifacts. You don't choose one. You merge the 2. Those 2 get destroyed. A new one comes out, right? 2 green ones, a blue one, 2 blue ones, a purple one, etc., etc. Very simple. Items are a little bit different. To upgrade the rarity of NFT items, 3 NFTs are involved. One, which is the target one. You have a really cool sword. It has really cool stats, aspects. You really like the sword. You want to upgrade it. You increase its rarity. So this sword, the aspects on that sword are going to be maintained as you increase its rarity. The other 2 items, note that it's free, not 2 like artifacts. So the other 2 items, they will be merged into that sword. They will disappear. Technically speaking, everything disappears, but basically you can see it as this way. One NFT, the one that you want to increase the rarity of, will be increased and will keep its statistics. So to summarize, choose 3 or 2 for artifacts, collectible items of the same type and rarity, which can be of different levels and tiers. It doesn't matter. Only one will be upgraded into the rarity and keep its characteristics. And also important to note, if the level of the burned items is less than the target ones, the price will be higher. Once again, this is just the price. It doesn't really matter. Essentially, you're foregoing the statistics and levels on the other items, right? So let's be crystal clear about how this works. Right, let's move on. Next question is, will the charge times of our NFTs change? That's what the roadmap says, because waiting for a whole day for 6 charges, which is just a big island, makes the game very boring unless we speed the charging up. Compared to the test, accelerating the charging will cost the same, or will it be increased or decreased? Andre, would you like to answer this one?
Sure. So when the charging and the prices of processes like crafting, upgrades, charging, and everything related to that, we try to amend them as seldom as possible. And for now, we are monitoring the statistics, analyzing the data, and we don't see any reason to adjust that right now based on the data that we see. But of course, we will always optimize for the most beneficial setting for the community. And by that, I mean this is something that might be looking strange from the individual perspective of a particular player. But obviously, there is some kind of balance of how often and what amount of activity of each kind could be done by the community in general. So we're keeping that in mind, but no specific plans to change anything as of today.
So the next question is, what is the date of phase 2 and phase 3? Quite an easy one. Rome, would
Yeah.
you like to maybe take this one?
The date of phase 2 is today, yesterday, and tomorrow. It has already started. It's going to be here for a while. So if you are not participating in the economy, go ahead and do it right now. Phase 3 is coming soon. So stay tuned for announcement. As we already mentioned several times, phase 3 is basically a TGE listing on the no, phase 2 is not tomorrow. Phase 2 has already started. Phase 3 is coming soon. Soon we're going to have a TGE, and you'll be able to exchange your proxy tokens. So I'm really excited for the day when I'll finally be able to tell you, yeah, go ahead, do it. So yeah, I'm stoked for that. And another question is, are they, probably are you, going to limit the number of adventure islands that we can do in a day when we have the token? Or can anyone who charges NFTs and has time spend all the time farming? I think, Andrew, you can take this one.
Yeah, sure. So the amount of adventures you can actually go to, the resources that are defined in that are the same as before. The only thing you need in addition to that is charged items. So with that being said, we are not limiting the amount of adventures in any additional way than that. So you obviously have to have runes. You obviously have to have gold to activate the portal, and you have to have charge items. Pretty clear. I guess the question came before the start of phase 2. So I hope that it's now clear to everyone who have tried that. And I also want to address the question from chat in regards to the rifts, in regards to the fact that their drop might seem like quite excessive ones. Yes, we increased the amount of rifts that are dropped to the players on purpose, and it will be decreased for sure. Now, the reason why we did that is to balance and to make the amount of items on hands of the players and rifts a little bit more in balance, because obviously current active audience already has quite a big amount of items on hands that require rifts for upgrades, and we wanted to adjust for that. However, in future, it will be decreasing, and quite soon and quite drastically.
Oh, wonderful. So the next question is, how long will the weapon or armor upgrade times be? And will the daily gold limit continue as 10 gold in phase 2? Ro?
Yeah, the traditional question about gold limits. Guys, so you'll get the traditional answer for that. There may be changes in the future. We are looking into it, but as of right now, we're not going to announce anything. So yeah, there's that. Another question that I'd like to take is there any intention to bring a summary of drops at the end of every adventure? And I'm glad to answer that yes, it's in our plans. It's planned for sometime in the first quarter of the next year. So yeah, expect that to be added quite soon. And another question is, do you plan to implement token burning for entry to the islands? What token burning method, in addition to crafting, do you have in mind? Andrew, would you like to take this one?
Sure. So you can consider and perceive token as a premium currency that can be traded. What that means is that, as we mentioned, we are only at the start of operation of the game, and I think I will not lie if I say that majority of the roadmap is still ahead of us. By that I mean not only content but features, social features, and plenty of improvements and developments that we have for the game. All of that includes the different kinds of content that will be available and sold for tokens. So the current current sinks of tokens are the most basic and fundamental ones. But in addition to that, there will be many more that will add along the way.
Right. This is about the auction house. Will an auction house be added in the future so that players can trade basic resources with each other? And when the auction house does exist, can we sell not only our wood and stone, but also essences and runes?
Yeah, we
Maybe
mentioned many times before that we're going to have an auction house, so don't worry about that. It's coming. It's going to happen next year. And it is planned that it will be possible to sell and buy most of, if not all, the droppable items, including, of course, essences and runes. So, yeah, expect that.
That's right. Uh, this next question is about legendary artifacts and the craft legendary items. So, will legendary artifact enable us to craft legendary items? Or can legendaries only be obtained using the merge system? So the answer to this is quite simple. Items of rarity 1 through 4 can be obtained from crafting. Items of rarity 5 can only be obtained through the merging system to increase rarity. Once again, if we assign a numerical value to the rarities, essentially it is uncommon, rare, purple, orange, right? All of those you can obtain through crafting, but past that, merging. So yeah, the other thing that I think is important to note is that you have to have an artifact of the same rarity. Moving on. Today, decorations are really the only NFT that is freely accessible and has a clear limitation. I've already suggested using decorations as a material to smelt NFT weapons. Would this attract more players? Would this be feasible? So we do not plan to use decor in any crafting processes related to equipment. I think that's a little counterintuitive, but perhaps, in the future, mechanics related to the decor itself will be expanded. I'm not at liberty to say exactly what that will look like, but yeah, hope that answers your question. In the future, will there be decoration rarity upgrading too? A lot of decoration questions. So we're happy with the role decorative items serve at the moment. However, we do have plans to expand mechanics linking to decorative items. As for increasing rarity, well, we'll have to wait and see. Next question is, will this free game access bring in a massive amount of bleeders like PVU? Don't forget multi-account holders and more bots. Interesting question. Andre, I think you will be able to take this one.
First of all, our priority as of today is to expand and grow our audience. Of course, we don't believe that there are particularly bad players or players that could somewhat harm the game if they are not trying to use cheats that we are deactivating on a regular basis, and after a specific update it will be mostly impossible to use any software or other means to gain advantage. So if they're not trying to exploit the game in a non-acceptable way, any player will be generally be the more players the better, I would say. So also we are focused on to increasing our community and active audience as we are preparing for TG, and we are seeing that these goals are completed quite well. We're seeing a big amount of new players joining us. Hope that you will treat them and welcome them and help them to figure out how to play the game, answer their questions, and we'll be um, uh, welcoming them in Discord and in other channels. But yeah, a lot of players are joining, and that is exactly what we expect from results-wise. I cannot promise that this will stay forever like that. I mean, we might get back to the access codes at some point, but for now, this is how it is. We don't plan to change anything during phase 2. As for multi-accounting, I would say that this is something that is being resolved by KYC. I know that some complaints are being shared by players who are having some issues with KYC, but we are addressing that via customer support. So if you have any problems, please submit a ticket, and we'll try to make sure that the issue is resolved. But multi-accounting is taken that KYC is used to identify the unique owner of the account is not accepted by the game policy. As for any players who are joining and playing the game, that's great, and we are seeing more of them lately.
Yeah, because if there's one thing that gamers are well known for is how welcoming they are and how friendly they are to other gamers. But you guys better be
Well,
as
come on, our community is quite friendly. Not to me, but in general. Yes, we have a lovely
yes.
bunch of guys.
But this is true. I mean, for any game that is going through early access, updates rolling in, some people can feel disoriented. But you guys, a lot of you guys have been here from the beginning, so help them out. Tell them what they use rifts for, or tokens, and how luck works and stuff like that. Anyway, let's move on. So, when will these sales stop? Endless sales drain the trust of the community. Another hard question, Andre.
I don't consider this question being hard, and I think that players who are positioning sales as something that drains the trust of the community are wrong in a lot of ways, and the best way how you can understand that is that if you have 100 items that enable participation in the economy, then at any time you might have only 100 players who are actively participating and thus are forming the community. And I think that it is obvious that to increase the overall amount of active audience, you have to have more resources and gear and items that are allowing people to participate in the economy. And the only way to increase the amount is by sales, because when one player is selling an asset to another player, the total amount of items available is not increasing. So as long as our community will be growing, you can expect that sales will happen from time to time, and the more the higher the dynamic would be, the more the sales would be required, because our goal is to have a really big community where hundred thousands of players are engaged in the economy, and we are only starting to get there. Of course, we are paying attention to demand and supply, but just people who are complaining about the sales just have to realize that the community is growing. That's a good sign. That's a good thing, and that's what we all want. And sales are just a natural part of the growth cycle of the game.
Very well said. So, moving on. Will the limit of additional islands be 5 for the foreseeable future? or is there a possibility that the limit will be raised? Rome, you
Yeah,
sound like the right man for the job.
guy says somebody who enjoys owning some property. I think 5 islands is more than enough. We do not plan to increase the limit of 5 islands in the foreseeable future. If you have more than more than 5 islands, feel free to rent them. Feel free to enter the market, but don't expect us to raise the ceiling higher. It's not happening anytime soon.
All right.
Another
Will it be the
question is
same when? Oh, no, please.
Go ahead.
You take it. Okay, so will there be a campaign or I missed one. Will it be the same when converting proxy tokens to shard tokens as OLRP tokens are in OpenLoot? I think this question is for Andre.
Sure, happy to take that. So the mechanic and the principle is quite similar. What I mean by that is OLRP tokens are the same type of premium currency on OpenLoot. And proxy shards will effectively be converted to tokens after TG. However, when it comes to exchange rate, it's absolutely up to the project and up to the resource what exchange rate would be. And in our case, it's not 100 to 1, it is 1 to 1. The proxy shards to shards ratio is equal. So, and that's something that we planned initially, and we will keep it like that. So the exchange rate is 1 to 1, and that's how I believe it was announced in the beginning, and that's how it will be.
All right. This is
another
that
question.
Yeah. Will there be a campaign or a main storyline, any sort of narrative involving NPCs or maybe daily missions? It would be nice to have new goals within the game. I wholeheartedly agree. It is planned. There are plans to add both stories and more interesting characters for you to experience. We're building the basis for that, as you can see now, with procedurally generated islands and stuff. And I completely agree with you that players benefit from other goals to pursue in the game, quests, stories, seeing what this world will turn out to be, where it came from, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that keeps the game fresh and enjoyable, right? So we'll be working on that, but as for when, I don't think I can say. We have far more important things to work on, but this is something that will really fresh out the game. So we'll keep you tuned into when that happens. So the next question is, when the phase 2 of the economy starts, will we need tokens and gems to craft items, or only gems? Rome can take this.
Yeah, I'll take this one. So currently crafting does not require a token, but after the TGE we plan to add it to the process. So you can expect that. Yeah, and another question. Finally, I can answer the question myself without someone interrupting me. I took over the mic. Yay! Will there be any way to stash the design of the buildings that we built on our additional islands? This can then be moved from additional islands to main islands to encourage the renting of islands. I said islands way too many times here, without losing material and the essence while upgrading the workbenches. So the question is way longer than the answer, but yes, it is planned. And another question is, will the NFT item rarity upgrading be affected by the luck level of each item used in the upgrading process? Tom, maybe you'll take it?
I would take this one, but you're complaining that you're not talking enough, so maybe you can take this one.
Oh, okay. You're gonna do me like that? Sure. Only the target item will keep its luck level and attributes aspects. The other two NFTs will be used in the process, and the target will have its rarity increased. So basically,
so I mentioned, I think, very in depth about this previously, but it is just the one item.
I hope that as players are already having access to this functionality, these questions will stop being submitted, because I remember that this question is probably following us for the last 3 or 4 AMAs. hope now it's all clear as the phase 2
Yeah.
started.
I mean, it's one of those weird things where you don't want to ignore questions, but at the same time, it's kind of like you said, redundant
Well,
because
I
it's
guess
out. Players can see now,
I guess as long as the players keep asking the question, this means that either it's not clear enough or it is important to them. So I'm not, I don't mind answering it several times, but I expect that now it's, as everybody's seen that.
Yeah, I'm super happy that Vibe has already happened and we don't get an influx of Vibe questions. So yeah.
We just had
So
one, actually. I saw somebody asking
we've
when
had
is the next
several.
wipe.
Yeah, but guys, no Vibe is planned for now. So yeah.
Yeah, and
Last
speaking
week.
of, people asking questions because maybe they're not certain about things. Doctor Seven Touch has asked a question in chat that I would like to answer real quick before we finish the AMA. So, can you explain to us how luck works? Because we're getting the same amount of tokens with different lucks of 400, 800, 1,200. So, actually, we do have. I hope we have wikis about this, but ultimately, luck can be capped out for the difficulty of the island. You need to be extra careful that you're not, overstacking your luck and go into, very simple islands where you are basically already capped out on luck. So just think of it like, a scalar thing where the luck stats and the total summary of your luck parameters across all your gear also is reflected on the difficulty of the islands you go to. We're incentivizing you, to go to higher difficulty, bigger islands. So that's important as well. So that's what
And
Doctor
I
7 was
think
asking.
I think also worth mentioning that the luck and token drop are not hardly correlated. And token drop in the end is dependent from very many factors, such as the amount of players that are actively playing the game, and so on. Not only from the luck itself. Also, there are global buckets for in-game rewards, their vesting speed, and so on. So, unfortunately, it's impossible to provide you with a table that this amount of luck equals to this drop rate or whatever. But what will always be true, and that's something that we have been keeping in mind when designing the game, is that luck and drop rates are always in correlation. So you can always expect that the more luck you have, the higher would be the rewards that you are receiving in the game.
Exactly. Yeah, very well said. Let's move on. So, we know that box sales are expected to come more frequently in the future. We believe some measures are necessary to prevent inflations, such as the artifact upgrade implementation, which was a great decision by the team. However, we have a question. How are you monitoring supply and demand? Is there a BI team tracking the influx of new players or similar metrics? Do you have an idea of the percentage of new players or the ideal time between box sales? Good question. Andre?
Yeah, happy to address that. And I think the answer would be long, and also the question is too general to give some precise answers, but I think I can address and can elaborate on overall approach. And worth mentioning that thanks to the past experience of operating large scale free-to-play games, we are not new to live operations of games of this complexity, and the amount of audience that we had in the prior titles was way higher than the one that we are having right now. So that's why we are eager to significantly grow the game from its current state. So with that being said, yes, we do have a BI system, and we have BI engineers and analysts that are, as the game is developed, every new feature that is being added. In parallel with that, the analytics events are added before the update, and we're closely monitoring the data for each feature and content piece that we have in the game, and are constantly considering if some adjustments are needed. So not only we are monitoring the general metrics, but also different players' cohort behavior, new players onboarding, and friction for new users, and many, many more. So this process is quite complex, and it's actually, I believe that for many Web3 titles, the lack of this expertise often results in poor product performance and development over time after the game release or after early access start. And in our case, is as difficult as in every other case, but we are uh, addressing that seriously, and we are keeping close attention to every position of inside the studio, and to the fact that people who are working with us have very high standards of their expertise, meet very high standards. So I hope that answers the question.
It does, and it's really, really good because Rome has to close everything out, and he gets to speak,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everybody loves Rome, so good for everyone.
Looking at the memes and in the comment section, not everybody loves Rome, unfortunately. But we will deal with you later, guys. Don't worry. Tom and Andrea are not always here, but I'm always watching, so you better be nice. Okay, so we had a lot of questions asking about the next sale, asking about what is going to be there, asking about how it's going to go. So I'm going to give you a sneak peek. Don't expect me to do a full announcement here. But the one thing that is going to be back is Founders Gear. I know that many of you have been waiting for that. So you can expect that. Of course, the supply is quite limited because, well, there is like not a lot of founders gear left, and it's supposed to be a rare item. But everybody who participates will get a chance to get some. So there is that. And of course, we are well aware of the fact that most of our latest sales ran into like issues with refunds, issues with high queues. We are going to tune the specs a little bit so more of you people have a chance to buy something. Don't worry about that. We keep an eye on that. We are going to announce it later down the line. So yeah, Gumancha, too bad that you missed the info. I'm not going to repeat myself. You have to live with that. And yes, Tom is indeed very, very handsome. And the last question is, of course, Lambo related. As main Lamborghini ambassador in our chat, I decided to take this one. My question is easy. Will I buy Lambo after the launch of the token on the stock exchange? So I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but what you need to do is to go to the closest Lambo dealership and just whisper in the manager's ear, "Hey, I'm here from Rome. Rome sent me," and film whatever happened next. Demand the car until they give it to you. Post it in chat, and we are going to have a good laugh. I guess that's pretty much it. But you should still do it, everyone. We have like almost 300 people here. Each and everyone should do that. And another sneak peek, I saw that you guys were posting cats. Let's make a deal. If the next sale is sold out, next AMA, I'm going to have cat headphones. So yeah,
What
I'm
those?
That's a dangerous path, man. Who
Yeah,
know what you will end up doing after a couple of sales?
no fursuit. Never expect me to do that. No board.
No one said
Never
anything
say
about
never,
fursuit.
dude.
No, but Cat yes, is going to happen if we are sold out. So if you're motivated for some reason to see me wearing that, go ahead. You know what to do. Okay.
Can I pick out the cat ears? So they are very embarrassing. Is this okay? I will
Okay.
send you a
Sure.
link. Great.
Go ahead. What?
Why did you
Aiden,
do that?
no.
Oh, nobody asked you to
No,
do that.
it's not going. What? You guys are crazy. You know that. Um. So
Well,
yeah,
I think this
I
was
think we
one of the
covered all the
shorter
questions.
AMAs. We have some time maybe to answer some questions. Maybe
Yeah, sure.
some of the things that were being spammed in chat.
Yeah, you can pick one. When
Sure.
is the sale?
We all
Not
know.
this week.
Yeah.
So there's that.
We all know that someone is very, very keen to have this specific question answered. So, why do you guys keep reducing the player token drops, but not reducing the consumption of player tokens and gems? Can't you see my question? Why don't you answer me? We can see a question, but we have an AMA to do, so we're going to come back to that. So let us
I
answer
think
your
I
question.
can address that. And as I mentioned before, the token drop is has opposite correlation to the amount of players engaged and players' activity. So probably if you are seeing a decline in the amount of tokens dropped, that just means that the amount of players who are engaged has increased. Taken that if you go to our wiki, there is a quite detailed information on the tokenomics, and it is the similar has high level design similar to Big Time. So there is in-game rewards pool that has certain vesting time frames and certain limits. And that explains the changes in the in-game rewards for tokens. So just like I said before, it's not constant, and it is dependent from number of factors.
Right.
Yeah, we have a question about Merry Christmas, guys. We are going to congratulate you with Merry Christmas, and I think we did well with our New Year's decorations, and I'll just going to say that it's not the last time we're going to celebrate like international events. So expect even more thematic gear later down the line. What's the price of new box? Wait till announcement. Don't worry. Box spoiler, please. Box spoiler was given. If you missed out, you missed out. I'm sorry.
Let me answer a question by Whiskey. How to solve this bug where the gemstones or gems consumed after being charged and added. So there are bugs. The update has come out. We will be fixing them. We are looking at this for sure. We've got a few tickets on this. With enemies being alive at 0 HP, there's a lot of new stuff that was added into this update, and not all of it's working 100% perfectly. We'll fix all these things out, but rest be assured that is not intended behavior, okay? We'll get that sorted for you as soon as we can.
Yep.
Is it possible
you
for
got a
there
question
to
about
be
the
a
recap.
female character? Yeah, so female character is in plans. So at some point, you will be able to customize your character, choose the gender, and you can play with the female character for sure. You can definitely expect that to happen somewhere next year, but maybe Tom wants to give some more spoilers.
No, I don't want to give spoilers, but I want to say it's not just, in the plans. There's been substantial amount of work when it comes to this kind of thing, and we will share it when we're ready, like with all things. But this is one of the big ones that we've been working on. We're going to keep working on it. We want it to be perfect. We don't want it just to be a male character, but with two added things. We want it to be much better than that.
Okay, Z, I'm sorry, but it's getting like really extensive. You need to like relax a bit. I'm going to take action. Yeah. And another question we got was related to new bosses, new mobs, maybe ranged mobs. Tom, would you like to tell
I
anything about
actually
that?
was told what I can share, and that is not one of the things I can share. But one of the things I will say is that I am in charge of the NPCs, and I am working on new ones. As you can see, we've had shielded enemies introduced. There's so much that I want to talk to you guys about. I can't. So just hang in there. New NPCs, new enemies, they are being developed. That's all I'm going to say for now.
Yeah. Well, um, it's almost been like an hour. I think that it's time to wrap things up. If it's fine with you. If you want to take anything else, you can. But other than that, no, I did not leak anything to you, Jeremy. Not this time.
It's okay, Tom. Rome told me everything in secret. Rome, are you telling
no,
James?
didn't
No?
happen.
Okay.
Didn't happen.
All right. Okay. Just making sure, because otherwise I have a conversation after the same thing. Thank you, guys. 300 people.
Yeah.
That's amazing. This is a shorter one for sure. I think you guys can tell that we let this sort of holiday period, we let our work do the talking. So the AMA is a little bit more bereft of the content, but there's still exciting things to come on. We've been working very hard. I think everyone deserves a rest. So we're really looking forward to the holiday season, but that doesn't mean that we're going to, relax. Starting next year, it's going to be the biggest year for Worldshards. And the year after that is even going to be bigger. And then after that, and after that, every single year from this year is going to be the biggest one for us. So just keep tuned, keep playing. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you everyone, and Merry Christmas
And happy
and
holidays.